Code of conduct.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown. I put in extra work that just can't be found. I took the sword out the stone, wasn't a thing. Look me in my eyes cause I'm a king. Look me in my eyes cause I'm a king. God made me punch in accurate numbers. My castle won't crumble. What I tackle will fumble. I've been a leader when they ain't see it, but now my feet is up. According to me, royalty didn't end with King Tut. Crown on my head, clouds is at my legs. Big says sky is the limit. I look down on the ledge. I push the bar like I'm opening a cell. Hands in my cookie jar, you won't come out with a single nail. I need all of mine. The weight of my shoulders won't fit on a scale. What's a king to a giant? Well, Goliath fell. Even if we playin' chess, dog, this king can't be checked. I make all my moves on the board, I invented my steps. I'm a king, the blood of a ruler, I feel like Mansa Musa. Make your squad disappear like landing by the Bermuda. Triangle, look at it from my angle. I'm a king, the closest thing to being one of God's angels. I'm a king. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. I put in extra work that just can't be found. I took the sword out the stone, wasn't a thing. Look me in my eyes cause I'm a king. Look me in my eyes cause I'm a king.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. This is the Code of Conduct with the King podcast. I am your host, JSpenceTheKing. And I am, listen, it was Victory Monday yesterday. So that means it's Victory Tuesday today. And I'm still doing the damn thing like I do. I'm enjoying this entire week. You know what I mean? I can't wait for Wednesday. I can't wait for Victory Thursday and Victory Friday. Hell, I'm going to keep the victory thing going until Saturday. It's what we do. Y'all going to have to excuse me this week. I got a sty, so I'm looking a little nuts this week, but I'm enjoying the week. I just want to talk. I have a guest. I have Josina Anderson. What happened was we had to pre-record her interview. So you're going to hear that in the podcast form. We're not going to have her live tonight with me. So y'all just stuck with me tonight. I hope that's okay. But I got some stuff I want to talk about. So it's not going to be an extremely long episode. We're going to try to push for the full hour. Might not get there. I might not have enough content because I'm just too animated today. I got too much energy. But a couple things. Let's start off with the coaching staff deserves some credit. The coaching staff, Sean McDinney, Brian Daboll, Leslie Frazier, those guys deserve some credit. Brandon Beane deserves some credit. I was one of the main guys over, right after January, February, when the Buffalo Bills were eliminated from the playoffs. I'm like, we gotta move the needle. We got to get closer to the Chiefs. Fast forward through free agency, fast forward through the draft. And I felt like, okay, we drafted Gregory Rousseau. Everyone knows when we drafted him, I wasn't one of those dudes that was like, let's do this. I love the pick. I didn't love the pick. Just being honest, I didn't love the pick. I was wrong about Gregory Rousseau. But one of the things that I said was we didn't move the needle to get closer to the Chiefs. The game that I saw in the AFC Championship, the game that I saw last season, the rosters just didn't look close. But shout out to Brandon Beane for saying, no, I built this damn roster the right way. I did what I was supposed to do. The guys that are here are the guys who are supposed to be here. The difference is we had some injuries, whatever. We weren't ready. It could have been whatever. Last season just wasn't the time. But this past Sunday night, the Buffalo Bills roll into Kansas City. They go into Arrowhead Stadium. And let's just call it what it was. It was a massacre. And the score looked closer towards the end of the game, just like the Bills score looked closer last year than what it really was. It really wasn't even as close as it was. Save a couple of those penalties. First of all, the referees just seemed to, like, for both sides. I don't even want to make it seem like it was a Bills thing. They were just throwing the flag out. It was just way too much, man. A lot of the stuff that we should just play through. We got to start playing through some of this stuff, man. It's getting ridiculous at some point when you're watching a game and like you're complete. We already had an hour delay at halftime because of the weather. Already had an hour delay. And now you're going to slow the game down even more by calling all of these penalties that really, I could question the refs because I'm not on the team. I'm not going to get a fine. I'm not that important, so I'm going to question it, man. What the hell is going on? Granted, obviously, all the Bills fans were happy with the roughing the passer call. In no way, shape, or form, to me, was that a roughing the passer. Go ahead and yell at me. It looks like he dived or put all his weight on the Josh. It didn't. It didn't. He clearly eased up. Let's talk about the pass interference play on Trey. Definitely shouldn't have been pass interference, but the one that Stephon Diggs got was. It's just a lot of things that we need to learn to play through, or that the team and the league, not just the team, the league needs to learn, like, hey, this is not a call. Around the league, the taunting penalties, all this stuff this year is just getting ridiculous. It's almost as bad as when we had the replacement refs, and that was horrible. That was horrible. We gotta figure this thing out. But anyway, back to the game. Brandon Beane, Sean McDermott, Leslie Frazier, they deserve credit. Because if they listen to most of these podcasters, maybe with the exception of like maybe Bruce, because Bruce is like, I'm team stay pat. Let's do what we do. Everybody else, man, and I'm going to put myself on that front line. I wasn't happy with the running game. I wasn't happy with cornerback 2. I wasn't happy with there was certain things I wasn't happy with the tight end. Can we put some respect on Dawson Knox's name? This season, he's been a number 1 tight end. And I don't mean a number 1 tight end for the Bills. He's been a number 1 tight end in the league. You rival his stats and you rival his production with what other players around the league are doing with his position. I guarantee he keeps his production going at the end of the season. He's going to be mentioned in the same breath. Now, I get it. We want to see things happen more than one season. We want to see it happen a couple times. But he's going to be mentioned in the same breath with those Mark Andrews and I don't want to go as far as saying Darren Waller, but I'm telling you, the way he's playing right now, we got to put some respect on Dawson Knox's name. And again, I was one of the guys. Tight end is a weakness on this roster. Going into the season, tight end is a weakness on this roster. That's what I've been saying. And now you look at what Dawson's doing, and I'm gonna tell you, it doesn't look like much of a weakness at all. He blocks well. He's not dropping passes. Somebody tried to argue with me like, well, it's really been the last 15 games that he's been a number 1 tight end. I'm not gonna go that far. I'm not gonna. I love him. I love what he's doing this year. Let's talk about this season. I'm not gonna go into last season and say that he was a number 1 tight end for the last 10 games of the year last year, because he wasn't. Dawson Knox, there was a reason why over the offseason, a lot of people, including, a lot of the analysts that we all look up to, there was a lot of people reporting on the game film, the numbers. The drops were there. He improved. He improved a heck of a lot. And now I'm glad to say tight end is not a weakness on this roster. The tight end position is not a weakness at all. The running back position was one that I was Joe. I'm yelling at Joe. Joe, we need Travis Etienne in the first round. I was all depressed. The Jacksonville Jaguars took him, and I'm sitting here all ticked off. Why can't we just get a number 1 receiver, right? And then you look at Travis Etienne's injured. We switch out Spencer Brown on the offensive line, and now we don't have a guy. We don't have the production out of the running back room where it looks like we have 2 number 1 guys, or that we have 1 number 1 guy. But we're running the ball when teams know we're going to run it, and we're still being successful. Spencer Brown has come in and he's completely changed the right side of the line, in my opinion. I have to, as of, it's been 2 weeks, and from what I've seen, the run game has been more efficient. I'm taking nothing away from Cody Ford here. I love Cody Ford, and it pains me that that he had to be benched and that the team is kind of moving forward with him in a depth role now. But I'm gonna tell you, the way this line looks, man, I'll be honest with you. This is the best that I've seen the line look in a minute. This is the best that I've seen the line look in a minute. And a lot of this could be probably geared towards the Joe overreaction show, because I might be in my feelings still, and this might be a lot of emotion. But the way I see it, the running back room is now running more efficiently. Last year, I was pounding the table, and I'm like, I don't need us to run more. We just got to run better. We got to run better. 95% of the content creation community was screaming the same thing. We got to be better. We got to be better. More efficient, more efficient. We're not running the ball more. We're just better at it. Statistically, it might look like we're running it more. The difference is we've been having to run at the end of games to close games out. So, fourth quarter, you're up 40-0. You're up 35-0. Yeah, you're going to hand the ball off. You're not going to pass the ball or give the ball to Josh to possibly get hit in the extra times. So, that in that regard, statistically, yeah, we're running the ball more. But right now, the team is just better. We're efficient in every area. Every area. The defense is lights out. This is what we envisioned when the offense started to come together last year. We all thought that the defense would look like this last year because this is how, and actually they look better than they did the prior year. Everybody's like, oh, the defense is going to finally catch up. We're going to be a top 4 defense again, and we're going to have an offense like this is what we wanted. This is what we wanted. And then, you're looking at Star Lotulelei. And again, I'll say it for week number 2. Some people still need to apologize to my guy Star. Some people still need to apologize to my guy Star. I got a shout out to guys over there at Buffalo Fanatics. They've been on this bandwagon, the same thing, for about a year and a half, 2 years. Star Lotulelei is one of the most important pieces on this defense. And regardless of what his stats look like, regardless of how many times you see him actually get a sack or tackle for a fumble or tackle for a loss or forced fumble, I can promise you every single play that he's out there, he's making things happen. The defense is being game planned for differently because Star is in the lineup. And if you don't believe me, just go down your timelines. Go look at everything that Cover One is posting, and go look at everything that all these other networks outside of the Bills content community is posting. You're going to see Star eating up 2-3 blockers. There was one play this past Sunday where he literally had 2 guys and still found a way to push another guy back into the running back to make the tackle. We're going to have to put some respect on who Star is and what he does. He's the reason why we're seeing Ed Oliver do Ed Oliver things. The Ed that we wanted to see. Everybody was so excited 2 years ago when Ed was playing, when we played the Cowboys and Ed had that breakout game. That's what we called it, just breakout game. Ed is having those games, maybe not that same level. He's not putting the same stats up, but he's being explosive because he's free, because now he's in his proper position and Star is doing the dirty work. Star is the janitor out there, and he's just cleaning everything up, and he's letting everybody else go and play, go and have their fun. I thank God for somebody like Star, man. I'm going to tell you, without Star, we're going to look like what we looked like last year. Also, rewind. Let's keep with this defensive line. That dog, Greg Rousseau, I said on Twitter yesterday morning in my Victory Monday morning thoughts, he's a young king. Greg Rousseau is a young king. And what he's doing, first of all, I just admit it. I was wrong about his draft pick. I was so disappointed in the performance that he put together as far as his tape when he knew all these analysts and guys were going to be looking at him coming into the draft. He was supposed to be drafted higher, and it's like, why would you perform so bad? These coaches and these scouts are going to be looking at you, and you just didn't prepare for it. You had the whole year. So my thought was his work ethic was down. His work ethic was bad. I didn't want him. Boy, am I happy to not be a GM at this point. I'm so happy my name isn't Brandon Bean, because he knew exactly what he was doing. And now when you watch Greg Rousseau on this field, first of all, there's been so many plays every week, not just against the Chiefs Sunday, every week where he's being completely blocked, but he still is able to use his length to make the tackle. He's shedding blocks, or even when he can't shed the block, he's just reaching out, grabbing dudes and pulling them down to the ground. Greg Rousseau, interception. What? Use the length, knock the ball in the air, interception. Those wide receiver skills are going to come into play. I hope this is the guy that we're going to get for the foreseeable future, for a long time. We got you on your rookie deal. Yeah, earn that second deal, bro. We need that. Greg Rousseau is doing things that I haven't seen out of a Bills defensive end in quite some time. And I love Jerry. No diss to Jerry. Love a lot of the guys that we've had. Greg Rousseau is young, and he's doing this stuff as a rookie with that. That's another the defensive line, the scheme that we use, we don't even allow guys to be on the field all game anymore. We rotate everybody in and out, in and out. So the production that we're getting out these guys is unheard of. It's unheard of. And I'm thrilled to have it. I'm thrilled that the team is where we are. I'm thrilled that everything that we've been wanting out of this defense, we're finally seeing. There's some people who were critical of Levi Wallace. Actually, even during the game, I'm still seeing people tweet out, Levi sucks. And Levi, I'm going to tell you, Levi does not suck. He's doing everything that the team asks him to do. And then on top of him doing everything that the team is asking him to do, he's outperforming his $1 million contract. Did we forget what we signed him for? He came back because he believed that this year was the year that we're going to win the Super Bowl. He would have gotten a check elsewhere. No, he's not a shutdown guy. He's not the guy that's going to shadow the number one receiver on the other team and go side to side. There's times that Trey can't do that well, or as well, I should say, because he does it well. Levi's playing well. This defense to be ranked the number one defense in the league after 5 weeks, still need more of a sample size for some people. I get it. Still need to see it consistently again and be like, oh, the Bills defense is back. I get it. That's not where I'm at. It's not where I'm at. Earlier this season, I told you I wasn't going to be humble too long. I'm done. I'm done being humble. I'm not going to be overly, I'm not going to be just too much out there where I'm just like jumping on people for no reason. But the thing is, at some point, we have to accept, okay, this is who we are. And I'm not about to keep being humble and trying to be quiet about it as if the Bills secretly are going to. No, the Bills are who they are. We saw through week 5, Josh is back. Or he never left. He's still the same MVP caliber player. People are questioning Diggs' involvement in the game. Diggs, that does not need to be questioned. What needs to be understood is that the offense is developing and they're building that chemistry back. And something that obviously was a key, and I'm going to touch on in a few, is Emmanuel Sanders' connection and chemistry with Josh Allen. They've been working on that, and you can tell it's something that's there. But back to the defense before I move on to the offense. Let's realize that we are who we are. And my man Tremaine Edmonds, last week, some people, even within the fan base, one of my guys and others were saying, well, I still didn't think he deserved Defensive Player of the Week. He only had 3 tackles. And listen, if you really don't want to take the time to see what Tremaine Edmonds is doing on the field, say that. Just say that. Tremaine Edmonds is lights out this year, man. No, he's not lights out in the sense of, again, always the comparisons are being made when you're talking about a number 1 middle linebacker, first round draft pick, all this stuff, right? He's not Ray Lewis. I don't need him to be. He's not Luke. Don't need him to be. I don't need him to be Mac. I don't need him to be any of those guys that you want him to be. What I need him to be is the guy that he's been this season. He's been doing things this year that I've believed that he could do the entire time. And not only is he doing them, but he's doing them well enough to where he's not missing. He's not missing tackles. He's not behind on plays. I know there's been some criticism like, oh, well, the ball, he can get plenty of interceptions that he's dropping. There's balls in. Okay. That's cool. We need more takeaways. Cool. We lead the league in takeaways. So I'm not tripping in that area. Could we use more? Always. You always want more. You're not about to have me nitpick at Tremaine Edmonds when he's performing like this for the year. You're not about to have me doing it. No. And talking about nitpicking, because I got called out yesterday after my morning takes. Again, all season I've been pretty critical on the punt return, kick return game. Let me just say this, and this is the only thing I'll say about it tonight. I believe that Isaiah McKenzie is the dude for the job. I believe that Isaiah McKenzie can do well in his job. My problem with the punt and kick return game is not Isaiah McKenzie's ability. When Isaiah McKenzie gets the ball in his hands, he's dangerous. My issue with the punt and kick return game is mental. I feel like he's not making decisions quickly. I feel like he's not being aggressive. I feel like he's not doing the things that will allow the Buffalo Bills to look at that part of the game as a strength. That is the issue that I have. That's the issue that I have. I'm not talking about Andre Roberts. He can stay in Houston. Would I have liked for the Bills to retain him? Yes. We didn't? Okay. So let's move on. He's gone. He's gone. But come on. Come on. We got to do better. Muff punts, whatever it is, whatever word, I don't know. Dropping punts. And then we want to keep creating excuses. The weather, this, the weather, that. You can't blame them for that one kick because the weather dropped it in. Okay. Now this past Sunday, oh, did you see how wet it was? Every player had to play in the rain. Every player had to play in the rain. The kick returner on the other team had to play in the rain. Josh had to throw in the rain. So did Patrick Mahomes. The running backs had to run in the rain. The receivers had to catch in the rain. And I'm pretty sure that the velocity on some of those throws from Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes was probably a little bit higher than the punt. Probably a little bit higher than the kickball. My point is, I'm not nitpicking to that point to where I'm saying Isaiah McKenzie isn't doing well. I wanted to speak positively on him because I do think that he's the guy that can do it. I don't think that the issue is his ability. I think right now the issue with Isaiah McKenzie is mental. I think it's mental. And I'm hoping and praying that he figures this thing out before Stevenson comes in and takes the role, or before the team tries to look elsewhere. We're still, we got a few weeks before the trade deadline. It's a couple things that could happen. That's not something that I want to happen for my guy. It's not. So let's see. Now let's get to that offense though, because a second ago I talked about Emmanuel Sanders and Josh Allen's chemistry. Can I just say that Emmanuel Sanders has to be the best free agent pickup by the Buffalo Bills for the locker room since Lorenzo Alexander? And I'm like, I want to be as firm saying that as I can. We've picked up some great guys. We've made some great additions to this team, and there's been a lot of things happening. But the leadership that Emmanuel Sanders brings and the calmness that he brings in these big moments, second to none. And he's such I'm sure at this point Josh doesn't need a mentor. But the confidence that he provides to Josh, the confidence. And he's one of those guys that, in the offseason, some of us slept on who he is and his ability on the field. Speed was never a problem for him. And I know, because I've been saying this all offseason, everybody was like, well, I don't know. He's not this, he's not that. If you look at his stats last season with the Saints, he didn't have a quarterback that could do what Josh Allen could do. And we're clearly seeing that already. He's already burnt a couple guys. Week 1, there was a touchdown that should have been had against the Steelers where he burned a guy. Josh overthrew him. Okay, we'll clean that up. And now this past Sunday, similar play, not the exact same play, but similar play. Josh dropped it in the bucket, threw it on the rope in the bucket. That's Emmanuel Sanders. He also has the route running. He also can create the separation. This offense is legit. Now, one thing I am concerned about, and I don't hear a lot of people speaking about it yet, and maybe it's because I don't listen to a ton of people right now. During the season, I try my hardest not to overly listen to other content because I like to keep mine fresh. But Cole Beasley's usage and his production has dropped tremendously from last season. I wanted that guy to get 1,000 yards so bad. I'm not talking about any of the political stuff. I don't think it has anything to do with his vaccine take or none of that. On the field, none of that stuff matters. So please, let's not talk about that in the comments. But Cole Beasley's numbers just aren't the same. Now, could it just simply be Emmanuel Sanders came in and he's taken a lot of those targets? Maybe. Could it be the emergence of Dawson Knox now as the tight end that I was speaking to earlier? Maybe. But I feel like in this type of offense, there's space and there's room for everybody to eat. Diggs still hasn't had like the major day that we were expecting from him every week. Like now we almost go into every single week saying like, okay, Diggs is going to eat and that, but he hasn't really done that yet this season. And that's okay. He's going to. But what I'm seeing from, he's healthy. Beasley's healthy. At least that's what the team is telling us, and that's what I'm assuming. Some of the catches that he's made so far have been great catches. So, yeah, I'm not sure as to why his production has dropped. It's something to monitor. I'm not going to go in on it right now because, again, it's something to monitor. I love him, but we'll see. We'll see. But Emmanuel Sanders has definitely been an upgrade to John Brown. And as much as I love Smoke, I've always loved Smoke. Smoke was the guy that when nobody wanted to come in and play with Josh, he was that guy that was like, man, I could be your number one receiver. I got the speed. I could do it. Had his best season with Josh Allen, came in here, put some eyes on Josh. That was the purpose for John. And John came in and did it. He came in and did it. And so thank you to John. But what we're seeing when you have somebody like Stephon Diggs and Emmanuel Sanders together with Josh Allen, we haven't even seen Gabriel Davis have a big game yet. He's made a couple clutch plays. We've seen him, but we haven't even seen Davis be the guy that he was last year. We have so many weapons on this offense. But the thing is, Josh actually can trust Emmanuel Sanders just like he trusts Stephon Diggs. And I think that's the reason why you see the targets. Because he knows when I throw that ball to him, it's not going to get dropped if it touches his hands. When I throw it to him, that ball is not going to get intercepted. If I'm giving him a shot to go and get it, Sanders is going to fight for me to make sure it's an incompletion if the defender happens to get it. I love Emmanuel Sanders, man. He's big time. He's big time. Real talk, he's big time. And what he's done for this team, not just the offense, what he's done for the locker room, he's absolutely elevated the confidence even more, a step past where we were last year. And that's needed. That's needed because the mental aspect of going into these big games, like this past Sunday, that was Emmanuel Sanders saying, we're a good team. We're a great team. Regardless of who we took a L to and regardless of last season, how it didn't work out, we're a great team. And all we have to do is be us. That's the leadership that you need from players. Because coaches, that's that coach talk. Coach talk will get out there anyway. But when you got a guy respected like Emmanuel Sanders in the locker room, having these conversations with Josh, having these conversations with Stephon Diggs, having these conversations with the rest of the team, it clicks differently when you have a player. And that's why I mentioned Lorenzo Alexander. Lorenzo was a heck of a player for our team. Special teams, defensively, he did the dirty work. He made the plays that people I don't want to say couldn't do, but he just seems to always be in the right place. He did everything right. That's Emmanuel Sanders on offense. And the leadership aspect that comes with it. Ask anybody on the team. When Lorenzo was there, Lorenzo was basically the coach, but he was a player. And he was a damn good player. Emmanuel Sanders on offense is out there, and I promise you he's in everybody's ear. And it's not just, it's Josh's team. Josh is the captain. It's Steph's team. Steph is the captain. I promise you those guys listen to and look up to Emmanuel Sanders. And what his leadership is doing for this team cannot be understated. It just can't be understated. He can't. So, MVP discussion. Is it too soon to start talking MVP discussion? Josh's numbers haven't been what we expected them to be. In the truest sense of the word, I guess this could be considered what regression is, right? But when you look at it, he doesn't have the same number of completions. His completion percentage is down from last season, but he's taken less sacks. So in my mind, he's throwing balls away more, which is good. But that's not going to give you all the completions that we've seen. So is it increasing as far as his incompletion percentage or what? Who knows? Who cares? All I see is right now he's making the right reads and the right throws at the right times. It shows me that his mental has taken another step forward as well. He's doing everything right at the line of scrimmage. And now, so his rookie and second year in the league, all we saw was this physically dominating player that would just come in and just take what he wanted when he wanted, and he had to physically assert his will. Now what I'm seeing is Josh is being surgical. He's taking those moments to pick and choose when he has to run. He's taking the moments, and then he's throwing, but he's throwing at will. He's throwing at will. Granted, the Chiefs defense is not ranked well. They're not a great defense. I didn't think that they would be a great defense against Josh. But when I tell you Josh is Josh. Is it too early to start talking to get him back in an MVP conversation? I believe Tom Brady's there. He had a rough game against the Patriots. But regardless, besides that game, Tom Brady has been lights out all season. Justin Herbert, geez, man. Justin Herbert is a machine. He's a machine, and they're going to be happy out there in Los Angeles for a long time. That kid is special. He's a machine. And then, also I got some flack Sunday because I mentioned Baker. And you all know I haven't been a fan of Baker, but this is why. So Baker didn't lose that game Sunday against Justin Herbert. The Chargers and the Browns game was not lost by Baker Mayfield. If you look at his stats and you look at his performance throughout the day, he absolutely put up enough points. That should have been enough points to win a game by any means. I'm not blaming that loss on Baker. However, if you give Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Justin Herbert, there's a few guys that if you give them the ball with 2 minutes left, down by a score, with time on the clock, and an offense like that, you're saying, okay, we know who wins this game. Too much time on the clock for Tom Brady. Too much time on the clock for Patrick. Josh, in his third year, his second year, he had more fourth quarter comeback victories than anybody. Last season, he killed it with the comeback victories. So I understand Baker isn't necessarily, and he shouldn't be those guys, but he was the number 1 overall pick. He's going to get this criticism. It's going to happen. Baker isn't in the same conversation. Baker is not in the same conversation as the other first round picks of that year. If we do that draft over, I guarantee you, Josh Allen's going first, Lamar Jackson's going second. If you're talking about an MVP, okay, Lamar Jackson's going first, Josh Allen's going second. And right now, Lamar's playing better as well. He's throwing the ball a whole lot better. I hope a lot of you got a chance to watch Monday Night Football last night. Lamar's throwing the ball a whole lot better. And it wasn't just that game. Look at his numbers. Go watch the games. Lamar Jackson is throwing the ball this year. No, he's not throwing it for 400 a game. Lamar Jackson is throwing it, though. And his accuracy is up. Last night, Lamar Jackson had, I believe, over 80% completion percentage on throw. He threw the ball over 43 times, or over 40 times. I think it was 43 exact. In history, he has the highest completion percentage for somebody throwing the ball that many times in a game. Check it out. That's a fact. That's not me making it up. We got to get, and I thank Bruce for actually tweeting that this morning. We got to get past all this Lamar Jackson as a running back thing. The guy's a quarterback, and he's mobile. You got to give him the respect. He's won an MVP. He hasn't missed the playoffs. He's winning the games. He's winning. They're 4-1. He is winning games. I saw a statistic, and I hate statistics like this because it implies that Jackson doesn't need receivers. It implies that he doesn't need a line to block. It implies that tight ends don't block and whatever. But Lamar Jackson has more yards than half the teams in the league. So while I hate those type of stats because obviously, you need your tight ends, you need your running backs, you need it's still we have to be honest enough to take a step back and be like, all right, I was wrong about somebody. All you Lamar Jackson haters were wrong. All of you Lamar Jackson haters were wrong. Wrong. I've been wrong about Baker. Baker has shown me enough to say, okay, he's not a bad quarterback. I still don't think he's as good as everybody wants to make him, but he's not a bad quarterback. But there are tiers, and Lamar Jackson is somebody, we've seen him do it. You give him the ball late in the game, he's going to score. He's going to do what it takes to get your team that touchdown to win. Just ain't seen that from Baker, man. Just haven't seen that from Baker. So I don't know. I don't know. I think that when it comes down to it, what we've seen from Josh, what we've seen as far as his progression, I think what we've seen from Lamar as far as his progression, I think it's fair to say that that draft class is still a success. It's a successful draft class. You know, Josh Rosen. You know, I still don't think he got he got a fair shake. He didn't get a fair shake. Now he's the backup in Atlanta. Again, he won't get a fair shake. I don't think that they're going to look his way at all after Matty Ice, which I think Matty Ice still has a couple of years. You know, forget his contract situation. I think he has. If you're watching him, he looks timid. He looks scared. He's not making all the throws right now. But at the same time, they don't necessarily have an offensive line to protect him. I'd be scared too. You know, and he's not mobile. He's not Josh or Lamar where he can run. So Josh Rosen, I don't think he's going to get a fair shake. He's not going to get that shot when all this stuff happens. You know, I don't know. It's rough. It's a rough shake, but Baker ain't that dude, man. Baker ain't that dude, and we got to stop. We got to stop being selective with who we decide is good and isn't good, because now it just looks like hate. Now it just looks bad when you're consistently hating on Lamar Jackson. The guy's 4-1. Last season he went to the playoffs. The season before he went to the playoffs. His rookie year he went to the playoffs. He has an MVP. He's done all this stuff, but yet we still want to hate on Lamar Jackson like Lamar Jackson can't be that dude. Lamar's a damn good quarterback, and he's not a good running back who throws the ball. He's a damn good quarterback, and he's taking steps forward to improve in areas that everybody questioned. If Lamar just keeps running, ain't no way he's going. We saw Mike Vick. We saw, and we're talking about all the mobile quarterbacks in history. We ain't seen Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is different. Lamar Jackson is different. Granted, he's mobile. He was smaller. He packed on some weight. He put on some muscle. He's throwing that ball. And I want y'all to give him some respect. Same way I'm asking for Star earlier. Same way I'm talking about Tremaine. Look, y'all need to put some respect on my man my man Lamar Jackson's name. I know it's not our quarterback. It's not the Bills player. We need to respect him because the guy is doing it, and he's doing it well. Shout out to my man L. Cool J. Shout out. Back to these Bills. So tomorrow, I got the Hump Day Hotline. I want to talk just for a moment about the Tennessee Titans next week. Typically, I don't talk about the next game on the Code of Conduct because I want to, save all of that for the Hump Day Hotline with Joe, and then I go into it with the Chop Up crew on Saturday. But I kind of want to talk about it for a moment here because I'm not talking about the game anyways. I want to talk about us going to Buffalo. I don't want to call it Buffalo South because technically Buffalo South is Carolina. So we're gonna. Is this the Midwest? Are we considering Tennessee the Midwest? I want to take a moment to say we need to get to Buffalo Midwest and do it like we do it every year. We need to get down there and take over this stadium. Titans fans are insufferable. Insufferable. I know there's a lot of disdain recently over the Kansas City Chiefs fans. You should have that. You should have that. They're going to be our rivals for a long time. It's not going to be the Patriots. I hope everybody, I hate the Patriots, but I hope everybody has an order of priority when it comes to their hate. I used to hate the Patriots first, Miami second, Jets third, and then everybody else. Sorry, it's my division and I hate those guys, but they're not going to be good for a long time. I hate the Chiefs. I hate the Titans. I hate the teams that we're going to see in the playoffs. I don't hate the Ravens. I'm sorry. I've been a Ravens fan too long. I don't want them to do well against us. I want us to beat them every time we play them, but I want success for that franchise out there. They remind me so much of us as a franchise. Now, they got a Super Bowl. They had some, but they went through some things as far as subpar quarterback play. They went through some things with just the way the franchise is loyal, just like the Bills fans are as well. There's a lot of things about them I like. Cleveland has fans like that, but I don't think the fans were as loyal. That can be debated. That can be debated. I want to see Baker do well. So again, the hate comes from that. But we gotta prioritize our hate here. And to me, the Titans fan base needs to be at the top of that list. We got the Chiefs there. We need to have the Titans there. And then we can get the Patriots back, because the Patriots, they're not making the playoffs. They're not making the playoffs. The Jets, come on. The Jets are not making the playoffs. I thought Miami could have. This quarterback situation is going to hurt them a whole lot more. When you listen to this on the podcast version of it, you'll hear Josina Anderson talk about some of the things that she's hearing about Miami right now, and talking about Deshaun Watson. Apparently, there is still some chatter going on down there, and she has the inside scoop. So make sure you check this out in podcast form. But man, I'm telling you, it's not it's not looking good in our division for the other teams. The Bills have a stranglehold this season, and I find it tough to believe that for the next 3 to 5 years, they're going to be able to put anything on the field that's really going to be able to compete with us as far as the division goes. I just don't see it. Conference-wise, I'm telling you, it's going to be the Bills. It's going to be the Chiefs. It's going to be the Chargers. It's going to be the Ravens. If you don't have one of those 4 quarterbacks, it's going to be slim pickings for you in the AFC Championship game. It's going to be slim pickings for you in the AFC Conference. Now, I'm glad to say I feel that we have one of the top 3 guys. As a Bills fan, everybody wants to say he's one, and I'm with you on that. But for the next 15 years, you're going to see a lot of Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. You're going to see Herbert's going to get there. Herbert's going to get there. I don't think it's this year, because I want it to be the Bills. Herbert is going to get there. There's just something about some of these young guys that come into the league when you know it. Like, you see these guys playing, it's like, oh, he's a star. Herbert is a star. Herbert is a star. And he just has everything I want Baker to have. He just has everything I want Baker to have. And we saw that on full display Sunday as the Chargers beat the Browns. Baker played a good game. I'll say that again. He played a good game. But, man, Herbert. Actually, Baker played an amazing game. Again, he didn't lose the game. But he didn't win it. And Herbert came through as a second-year player and said, look, I'm that dude over here. And I'm going to show y'all what it's about. Yeah. So, Bills fans, Tennessee. Let's get to Tennessee. Let's get out there and show them, that we're going to dog walk their team like we have been doing anyway, because that's what we've been doing. I know they got us last year with the COVID game, whatever, but we're going to dog walk everybody going forward. The Titans are not as good as they were. Their defense has taken a major step back. The receiving core is beat up. Brown played Sunday, but he's not healthy. I'm still not completely sold on Tannehill. His numbers improved since he left Miami, and a lot of people kind of wanted. Look, you got Derrick Henry back there. It's a whole lot easier to throw it because everybody's in the box. You got 8 guys in the box almost every play, and he's still not. Now you got. We're not gonna get into Tannehill. I don't have time, but I'm not sold on Tannehill. I am sold on the fact that Derrick Henry is that dude. What we've seen from the Bills this year is that we can stop the running attack. Now, can we contain Derrick Henry? I haven't seen many teams really do it successfully. So can we do that? I hope so. I would like to see it. That's that Monique meme. I would like to see it. I sure would. Do I think that we can? I don't know. He's a big deal. But I don't think he's going to win the game exclusively. I think they're going to need a big game from defense, and they're going to need a big game from their offensive weapons other than Henry in order to beat the Bills Sunday. And I don't see it happening. But what I'm going to say is Bills Mafia, get down there, get loud, get rowdy as rowdy as can be. Get rowdy as can be. It's time. It's time for us to I don't want to say it's time for us to turn into the annoying fan base like the Chiefs have become, how Patriots fans were. We haven't won a Super Bowl. We haven't won nothing. So I don't want to encourage people to get on that level of arrogant. But it's time to be proud of who we are. It's time to be proud of the fan base that we are. We've been loyal. We've been there when we've had 6 and 10 teams. We've been there through Ryan Fitzpatrick starting the season off great, extending him, and then us not winning many games after that. We've been there through Jeff Toole. We've been there through quarterbacks slipping in the offseason and ruining their knee and going on injured reserve for the year. We've been there through EJ Manuel. We've been there through Marshawn Lynch being traded. We've been there through, like, I can list stuff for almost 2 decades. I can list stuff that we've been there for and we've been loyal for. That Bill Stadium, the Ralph Wilson Stadium, whatever you want to call it, Highmark Stadium, New Era Field. We've been through all of these name changes, and we've been through Donald Trump attempting to buy the team. We've been through all of this stuff, and now we're here. And yeah, there's some some bandwagon fans that jumped on now. There's some that jumped on. That's what happens when you start winning. You get noticed around the country, and now people are like, "That's my squad. I'm with the Bills." That's fine. Y'all can hang out. But those of us who bleed red, white, and blue, those of us who bleed like this and have been bleeding like this for some time, those of us who have game tickets when we were playing against teams that we knew we weren't going to beat, but we went out there to be as loud as hell as possible anyways. Yeah, we're the fan base that's been loyal for decades. We're the fan base that's been selling out teams or games when teams were going 3-13. We only had a couple of those seasons. But we're that fan base. So now it's time to be proud. It's time to stand up. My man Cal Brent says, Mafia, mount up. It's time to mount up. It's time. I'm going to go ahead and end this thing. If you're listening to this on podcast form, please stay tuned for Miss Josina Anderson. If you're watching this with me now, Bills fans, let's do this. Sunday, let's get to Tennessee. Let's make this thing as loud as possible. And let's just do what we got to do. Let's do what we got to do. I love y'all. Y'all know how I do it over here. Love each other. Take care of each other. Live in peace. And as always, stay positive. Test negative. Go Bills.
Code of conduct.